Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have an incredible dinner recipe for you guys, and I want to show you how to make the best and most delicious classic shepherd's pie. This incredible comfort food dish is made with a savory ground lamb filling that also has veggies such as peas, corn, and carrots, and we're going to top the savory filling off with some cheesy Parmesan garlic mashed potatoes. Bake everything in the oven. You guys are going to love this incredible casserole dish. This dish is traditionally served for Easter, but really you can enjoy it any time of the year. It's such an incredibly easy and delicious dish that you and your family are going to love. Let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make this incredible dish. And before I get started on my ground lamb filling, let's talk about the potatoes. So I've peeled and chopped 6 medium-sized potatoes, and I have them here in some salted water. And I'm going to bring my potatoes up to boil on the stovetop, and I'm going to boil them for about 15 minutes or until they're fork tender. Then I'm going to drain them, and we'll come back to finish off our Parmesan garlic mashed potatoes. This is going to be the perfect topping for the savory lamb filling. And now for my savory filling, I'm going to preheat a large frying pan over medium-high heat, and I'll add in a little drizzle of some cooking oil. And once my pan is nice and hot, I'm going to add in 1 pound of ground lamb. Now if you don't like lamb, you could always use ground beef instead. And I'm going to fry this ground lamb for about 8 minutes until it's really well browned all over. And as it's cooking, just break it down into smaller pieces with your spatula. And I'm going to season the ground lamb with a little bit of ground black pepper and salt. And once my ground lamb is nicely browned all over, I'm going to remove it from the pan onto a clean tray. And I'm going to set aside this browned meat for now and get started on the veggies. I'm going to use the same pan, and into the pan I'm going to add in a couple tablespoons of my favorite salted butter. And the butter is just going to add in so much incredible flavor. Just let this melt first. And into my melted butter, I'm going to add in 1 large diced onion and 3 medium diced carrots. It's about ½ a cup of diced carrots. And I'm going to saute this mixture for about 3 to 4 minutes until the onions and carrots are tender. Next, I'll add in 5 minced garlic cloves. These are going to add lots and lots of flavor. Next, I'll add in ½ a cup of sweet peas. These were frozen, I just let them thaw. And ½ a cup of canned corn. And now I'm ready to return my brown ground lamb back into the pan, and we're going to mix it into all those veggies. And this already smells so good. You guys are going to love how aromatic this dish is. And now it's time for my seasonings. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme, a tablespoon of fresh rosemary, and 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of paprika. Season this generously with salt and some ground black pepper. Next, I'll add in ½ a cup of red wine and 2 to 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and just let this reduce for about a minute. Next, I'm going to add in a couple tablespoons of tomato paste and a ¼ cup of ketchup. You can also use tomato sauce, but I really like the ketchup because it has a good balance of sweetness and acidity. It just makes this dish really pop. And to help thicken this savory filling as it bakes, I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Just sprinkle it over the top and then stir it in really well. You don't want any dry pieces of flour. And my final ingredient is 1 cup of beef broth. I'm going to pour that into this pan and then let this mixture come up to simmer for a couple minutes, and our savory ground lamb meat filling is all done. And once my filling has finished simmering for a couple minutes, I'm going to transfer it into a casserole pan. I have a nice tall medium-sized casserole pan today. And make sure this filling is nice and even inside of the pan. And my potatoes finished cooking. Just as I was finishing up with the lamb filling, I've drained my potatoes, and now I'm going to add in half a cup of butter. Just going to drop that into the potatoes, and I like to cut my butter into smaller pieces so it melts faster. You guys are going to love these potatoes. Now, what I do recommend is not making them too creamy or too soft. So you actually kind of want them on the drier side, because as the potatoes bake, as the casserole bakes, there's going to be a lot of moisture rising up from that bottom, from the sauce that we have there. And it's going to make the potatoes a little bit more runny. So I like to make them a little bit more dry to begin with. So as they bake, they don't become like too soggy and too mushy. And once the butter is melted, I'm going to grab my potato masher and crush the potatoes into a puree. And into my mashed potatoes, I'm going to be adding in 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, about a tablespoon of fresh parsley, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and about a teaspoon of thyme, fresh thyme. And then fold this all together. And I find the easiest way to beautifully arrange the mashed potatoes over the lamb filling is to actually pipe the potatoes over the top. I'm just going to place them into a large pastry bag, and I placed a large star tip onto my bag today. And this just makes the job so easy. Just going to pipe the potatoes right on top. And this way they look really pretty, and they're also not going to like press down onto the filling, kind of displace everything. And my shepherd's pie is ready for the oven. I've preheated mine to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I started preheating my oven when I started cooking my lamb mixture, and this casserole is going to bake for about 30 to 35 minutes until it's lightly golden on top, and then the sauce should be kind of bubbling around the edges. If you want the potatoes to be even more brown on the top, you could place the dish under the broiler for a couple of minutes. I just took my shepherd's pie out of the oven, and you can see the sauce is still boiling here along the edges. I'm going to let this rest for at least 20 minutes because it's super hot at this point, and then we'll dig in to enjoy. And now that my shepherd's pie has cooled a little bit, it's time to dig in and enjoy. I'm just going to use a spoon and scoop up from the bottom. So you want all of that incredible ground meat filling. And check out this incredible filling. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm gonna sprinkle on a little bit of fresh parsley on top, and this is ready to be enjoyed. And that is it, guys, for my classic shepherd's pie recipe. You guys are going to be blown away with how aromatic and mouth-watering this dish is. For the full recipe, don't forget to head on down the video description box. I'll have a recipe link, and you'll find everything up on my website. Meanwhile, let's dig in to enjoy this dish. It looks so incredibly delicious. This sauce with the ground lamb and all the veggies is just so impressive. Now, to enjoy this, what I like to do is grab a little bit of the potato, scoop up some of that savory lamb filling. That looks so good. You guys are going to be blown away with the flavors of the shepherd's pie recipe. This savory filling is so saucy, savory, and delicious. I love the aroma. I love all the fresh herbs and the spices, and the addition of the little veggies, the peas, the corn, and the carrots, and that Parmesan garlic potatoes on the top are the perfect complement. Everything combined together tastes so incredibly delicious. Now, I've had shepherd's pie before, but this shepherd's pie recipe is on a whole different level. It is so incredibly flavorful and aromatic. You guys are going to love it. And I love to use ground lamb for this recipe, but if you're not a fan of lamb, you can always use ground beef. I find that the lamb here is perfect. It's not too gamey. It's not overwhelming. Thanks to the red wine and the tomato paste and the ketchup that we added in there, it really helps take care of that gamey flavor. Thank you guys so much for watching this recipe. I hope you enjoyed this shepherd's pie either for Easter or really any time of the year you're craving for some delicious comfort food. And again, don't forget the recipes down in their video description box. I'll see you guys next time with a new recipe.